Welcome to Our Community. Susie Thomas here with you this morning, having fun with Chris Gump and Joanne Murray from the Hall of Fame Enshrinement Festival. Good morning to both of you.
Good morning, Susie.
Well, your lives aren't busy right now at all, are they?
No, not at all.
We're glad we're on radio, not TV, because we have bags under our eyes already.
Stop.
It's a good thing, though. It's a good tired.
Remind everybody who might not know your roles with all of this. Joanne, I always assume everyone knows, but go ahead and tell us what you do with Hall of Fame.
Sure. Well, Chris and I are both longtime volunteers for the Enshrinement Festival before we came on staff, and we are currently with the events department at the Canton Regional Chamber of Commerce, and one of the biggest aspects of the events department is the Enshrinement Festival and all of those events. So I'm the VP of Community Events and Sponsorships, and Chris is the Director of Community Events and Sponsorships. So we're attached to the hip, we're partners, and we do all things events throughout the entire year.
That might come as a surprise to people because they think everything is Hall of Fame, Hall of Fame. Just real briefly, what other events, Chris, would that entail throughout the year?
Well, in addition to the Enshrinement Festival, you said, Susie, the Chamber has multiple events as well. Mm-hmm. And so when we merge the departments, the Chamber has lots of business events, business excellence, the annual dinner, community salute. Then we have some great downtown events, too. You, I think, you did enjoy Vintage Canton.
Very much.
Yes. And Blues Fest. We do a great event in December for Light Up Downtown, and it's we're well-rounded. Events are us.
Events are us, for sure. And we are seeing more and more Pro Football Hall of Fame type events throughout the year, aren't we?
We sure are. I think one of our goals in collaboration with the Pro Football Hall of Fame is to celebrate being the Hall of Fame city all year long, not just for 2.5 weeks during the summer, but all year long. And as you see the village concept continue to take shape, you'll see more and more of that happening because our goal, along with the hall, is to bring people to the campus every day, all year long. So you will see, I think, Enshrinement Festival events perhaps spreading out a bit. You'll see new events on campus as the village allows for more and more exciting things to happen.
It is so exciting. It's like we live in the center of the universe, and all eyes are on Canton right now, really beginning this weekend. We all notice the traffic becoming a little bit heavier, but what can we really look forward to? Let's just go through it. What's happening?
Well, before we go through it, first of all, to your comment, you have to, if you haven't recently, you have to drive on I-77
That's what I was going to say.
And look over at the Tom Benson Hall of Fame Stadium and see the north stands being put in, and those chairs with backs and arms look so comfy. Mm-hmm. And then you also see those yellow AEP goalposts that are just amazing.
Wasn't that the best? What a great idea.
So clever.
I want to know who woke up in the middle of the night and said, aha, this is what we've got to do.
Exactly.
It's amazing. It's amazing.
And not just think it, but to do it and make it happen. It is awesome. And that it's on both sides of the street.
Yes.
That you're seeing it. It's really like you're just driving down a football field.
And it was funny because I didn't hear anything about it, like this is going to happen. It just happened, and it was so cool. It was like, just make it happen, and it did.
I think what it is a sign of the mindset of our community changing, where people aren't just thinking about the hall, local people during those 2.5 weeks of the festival.
Yes.
They're thinking about it all year long because of the village and what's happening. So everybody's embracing it. For AEP to come up with the idea and go to the hall, and the hall, I think, had to do some financial support of it. And so everything you're seeing is a collaboration between and among people who are embracing all the great opportunity we have right in front of us.
How funny is it that it took someone from out of town to come in here and remind us who we are? As Canton, as every city is looking for a brand. Mm-hmm. We already had one, and we weren't capitalizing on it 51 weeks out of the year, 50 weeks out of the year.
I think it's human nature that people, not intentionally, but you just get in a comfort zone and kind of take for granted what you have, and you don't look at it with fresh eyes. And that's why with our volunteers, our leadership changes every 2 years on our committees, because you want fresh eyes coming in. What we have is already exceptional, but fresh eyes can sometimes bring even more good stuff.
I cannot wait to see that new hologram exhibit. Oh, my goodness.
We got a sneak peek. Oh. You're going to freak out.
Tell me.
It's like
Joe Namath giving the tour.
It's like he's standing right in front of you, Susie. I turned around and I looked at David Baker and went, oh, and then you get past that, and the message is incredible. Mm-hmm. And I left there crying, in tears.
It's not just about football. It's about excellence, and we are the most inspiring place on earth.
Yes. It is truly amazing, and everybody needs to see that exhibit, especially young children, because the message is it's going to change lives. Yeah. It is. It's going to change lives.
Oh, that's so cool.
The message from Jim Kelly was really about family, what family means, and what family and friends meant to him while he was fighting cancer.
Yes.
And what every day when they would come into his hospital room and they had a smile on his face, what that meant to him. So as Chris mentioned, it's all about celebrating life, and it's about life lessons. It's not just about football. So it's
and
amazing.
how you handle challenges.
Yes.
Yes.
You know?
Yes. Well, isn't that why we encourage our kids to get into sports in general? Because of the confidence building and learning life lessons that they'll use forever.
Right.
Pretty cool that we live in a town where that's what we do here. Let's talk about the events. So what is happening? What can we look forward to?
Sure. Well, let me start off. This is our 53rd year of the Chamber and the Hall collaborating to put on events to celebrate the enshrinement. And that's really what everything is focused on, celebrating the enshrinement. And we have a great class of 8 people this year. And, they're really men of integrity and character and all those life lessons we talked about with the Game of Life exhibit at the Hall. These men portray. So a great class, and we'll start things off locally with our community parade on Sunday, July 24th, and we're looking for someone to be in charge of weather. So Susan, maybe you'll accept that, because the last 2 years we were not
put in
only
a good word.
Oh, well, you have connections, so we appreciate that. We were not just rained on; it was torrential downpour, and I mean, I was covering my eyes last year to try to keep my contacts from floating out of my eyes.
It was
we
bad.
were so wet. But
It doesn't seem to impact the crowds, though, does it?
Those kids, we kept saying, hurry, hurry, there's weather coming, and they just marched right through it with smiles on their faces. They loved it. So we're hoping for good weather, but that's right down Market Avenue on Sunday, July 24th at 2:30, and it's just like any Main Street parade in any city in the country, and it gives everybody a chance to participate and feel a part of it.
So exciting. I have to go into a funny story. Marching in that one year, well, it was not the community parade. It was in the grand parade, which we will be getting to. And the weather was not looking good. And we were told, don't worry, we have an evacuation plan all set to put into place. Well, there was in the distance a little lightning. And so they decided to put that evacuation plan into place, which meant one of the parade marshals along the route came up and in my face yelled, "Run!"
Oh, no.
That was the evacuation plan. And we did.
And so, please, how many years ago was that, Susan?
Oh, this was many years ago.
We're much better.
Oh, I'm sure. And maybe the real plan hadn't gotten to that person, but run seemed to be the plan. So we ran, and we real quickly took the helium out of our balloon and all went home, and everyone was safe and sound. But I thought it was hilarious.
Today we say run fast.
Yeah.
We've evolved. Much better plan.
Yes.
You're right. Okay, so we kick things off with a community parade, and then what happens?
Well, then after the community parade, we go into the Balloon Classic, which Joanne and I both have been the event managers for that. And it's a great event, and the community loves it. And one of the things that we really want to not lose sight of is letting our community know how much we appreciate their support. So many of our events, and Joanne maybe can expound on this a little bit, we like to have free events for our community, just to show the support. Like you said, Susie, traffic starts to pick up a little bit. So, hey, we want you to just know that we appreciate the inconveniences that you have, but what a great time to be in Canton, Ohio. So the Balloon Classic is 3 days. It's Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Sunday morning is probably my favorite flight, and you should come out and just watch it because nobody's really there. Friday and Saturday are the biggest attendance nights.
Taking place where? Remind us.
It is at Kent State University at Stark and Stark State campuses.
That's not easy to say, but you did very well.
Thank you.
Yeah, and right there, and there's so many restaurants nearby. You can pretty much sit on a patio and watch those if you're not able to get onto the campus itself. But there's plenty of room on the campus.
There's plenty of room on the campus. We have parking, and it's $5 if you come after 3:30. There's lots of food vendors at the same time the Jackson Belden Music Fest is going on, and they have lots of food vendors there as well. You can bring a blanket and just come and hang out and sit and watch the balloon activities.
Now, Friday night they do the glow, and then Saturday night are the fireworks. Can you give us some details?
Well, that is correct. Concluding the flight activity, both of those nights are the aglow on Friday and the fireworks on Saturday. But this will appeal to you, I'm sure, Susie. One of our special shape balloons this year is an Elvis.
He's so cool.
And this Elvis balloon is so cool. So we like to say Elvis is in the building. I mean, it is so fun. And we have other special shapes as well, but that's a new one this year. And so it'll be great. It's a great family event. And as Chris mentioned, a great partnership with the Jackson Belden Chamber.
Gotta ask, have either of you ever gotten to go on one of those flights?
You know, it's my mission before I retire, or before Joanne retires, to get her in a hot air balloon.
It will never happen.
Yeah.
It is
it's wonderful. You have to.
It's safer than traveling in a car, but I can't picture myself standing in a picnic basket with an open flame above my head and no steering wheel and no brakes. So if they made me go in under threat of I don't know what, I would pass out and not enjoy it anyway. So it's just not my thing.
And
so
Joanne
wonderful.
is a minority on that, because most people,
wonderful.
once you fly once, you want to fly again, because it's that experience. It's so calm and quiet.
So quiet.
And
People love it.
Yeah.
Floating. You are, oh my goodness. And just seeing Stark County in a way you never saw it before.
And the morning flights are so calm, and then the dogs come out and bark, and
from
this
every
is a little
dog.
tidbit that during the weekend, if a balloon would fly over your house, get a white sheet and put it out on your lawn, and that's a sign to the pilot that you have permission to. You've given him permission to land.
to land.
Yeah.
Wait, say that again. Anybody can do this?
If the balloons are flying over your house and you see them coming, you can put a white sheet out. Now, that doesn't mean they're going to, because it depends on where they are in their flight.
And there's no steering wheel.
And there's, yeah.
Right,
We had somebody actually call us and say, "Can you have the balloons fly over my wedding?" And we're like, sure.
Well, it's worth asking, but that depends on the wind, doesn't it?
Exactly.
It does. But if they put a white sheet out, the pilot knows that you've given him permission to, him or her, we have female pilots, to land. And then it's a great experience, because the pilot will land, and then they get all the kids in the neighborhood involved, and they help pack it up. And it's just, our pilots are wonderful. They come from all over the United States to come to and a lot of them have jobs. So this is their weekend activities. They don't get paid to do this.
That would be thrilling to have them pick your backyard. Criteria? Do you have to have a certain size of backyard? No telephone lines or a lot of electrical lines, I think, maybe?
That's true. That would be a good indicator, Susie, because the pilots want to stay away from electrical lines. We'll give you a little lesson in ballooning. It's called a PZ, prohibited zone. So our team will actually scope out the area of where the pilots are going to fly this year. And if there's like a farm that has animals, they'll put that as a prohibited zone. We also check with lots of different businesses and owners of large areas and ask permission for the pilots, if needed, to land there. So
Okay, but if you've got a fairly large-sized backyard... And,
yeah. Oh, they can land them. I mean, it's
yeah.
crazy. You can
Yeah.
land it right in somebody's front yard. And
My goodness, that would be so fun. I'm putting a sheet out. I'm
There
so
you go.
excited. That is fun. All right. Well, my goodness, we are going so fast. Let's get to the next thing. We've only gotten to the balloon classic, and that's only the second thing going on.
Let's scoot through a little bit. We have the first ball that used to be called First Play, which is on Thursday, August 4th, and that'll be about 12 to 1,500 youngsters who will line up starting at the Frank T. Bow Building, which
Why
is
the
where
Frank T. Bow Building?
Well, the NFL was actually founded. It was in 1920 actually. So the 100th anniversary is coming in a couple years, but it was actually founded in the Hutmobile garage there, and so that's a very historic site for Canton, Ohio. And it'll start there and wind through downtown and through the park system, and all those kids will end up at the hall. So we always love going and standing out in front of the chamber because they pass right by us and we cheer them on. And what they do is take a football and throw it from child to child to child. And sometimes it's a dad with a brand new newborn in his arms and just lets the newborn touch the ball. And sometimes it's kids in strollers, and sometimes it's little older kids. But it's a great event. And then they go to the hall and get fed and just have a good time at the hall. So
I didn't
it's a
know
wonderful-
newborns were allowed to participate. I have a feeling maybe a new grandson of mine
There
might
you
just be in
go.
on that, because his dad sure would be all about it.
That would be awesome.
So fun. What's next?
the Chinese Gold Jacket Dinner, and I'm going to, Joanne and I are both going to chat about this because there's so many exciting things. This really is one of the events that the class receives, one of the three icons of their induction into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. They receive their gold jacket, hence the name of the event, the Chinese Gold Jacket Dinner. And it is just an amazing event. 2 years ago, Joanne, the NFL came in and decided that they were going to broadcast it. And so we are national eyes on Canton, Ohio, having this event. And these men and the returning Hall of Famers or Gold Jackets. We were just chatting about this the other day at work. We were watching some video, and it's so emotional to see the new guys come in and get a high five or a hug or from the Gold Jackets. And many of them, you relay the story, Joanne, about the one that said his childhood hero was it
right. I don't remember exactly who it was, but we think of all these football heroes, players, coaches, contributors who are in the hall being a fraternity who all know each other.
And they don't.
And
Yes.
they don't. And so when we use, first of all, when we use the term Gold Jacket, it's what we used to call Hall of Famers.
You're
We call
talking
them-
about the person
We're
themselves.
talking about the Gold Jackets. And so when at the dinner, we introduce all the returning Gold Jackets, and they line up and form a gauntlet. And then one by one, the new class is introduced, and they walk through the gauntlet, as Chris said, and they do the high fives and the hugs. And afterwards, one of the enshrinees a couple years ago said, that was the biggest thrill of my lifetime because I met, and he named one of the Gold Jackets, I don't remember which one. He said, I grew up with him as my childhood hero.
Yeah.
I wanted to grow up to be like him.
Wow.
And I said, you mean you never met him along the way? He said, of course not.
No.
When would I have had the opportunity to do that? So they're like kids in a candy store, just like all of us as guests and working at the dinner. And you forget about that. And then when they comes the realization they are all in this fraternity together, it's a pretty big emotional thing.
Certainly is. We're speaking with Chris Gump, Joanne Murray from the Hall of Fame Enshrinement Festival. Going to take a break. We'll be back after these words. You're listening to Our Community.